Namaste everybody. We're going to continue with the I AM Discourses. We're just going to finish off Discourse 24. To continue. In this particular point, one should understand the amazing conditions of suggestion by which individuals are constantly surrounded. For instance, let us take the environment and association of individuals who have been in the habit of going together. In that friendly association, each one is susceptible to the suggestion from the other. If it be discordant, then that association will be broken up sooner or later by one grand row. However, 75% of the individuals about in the outer world are not aware that they are taking on suggestion either from association, environment, or conditions outpictured before them. The correct attitude of the student who becomes aware of his I am presence is immediately to take the firm stand that I am invincibly protected against any imperfect suggestion. Thus one can build about himself or herself an atmosphere which will immediately repel all suggestions that seek to intrude wherein there is a destructive element. I think it necessary to call your attention to your old copybooks, which said, if at first you don't succeed, try again. There is no way to gain victory and dominion over limitation except to keep at it until you accomplish it. If you question your accomplishment, you are postponing your victory that much longer. Those students who really begin to understand that the recognition and use of their I am presence, they have universal power at their command. I'll read that bit again. They have the universal power at their command. Then they know it is impossible to fail in their application, because the more they use it, the more of its sustaining power they have. Every time you feel a Christ manifestation, say, I praise thee and accept the light of thy presence, the full I am activity. Take this attitude always, and then you shut the door to any undesirable creation from those who have passed on. Always remember that you are the master of what you shall come into your thought world, and unless you realize that you are the master, you are susceptible to all kinds of thoughts and feelings. For others, no, I am the presence taken into accomplishment. If you give attention to a condition of disturbance, you are giving power to something else about your I am presence. Benediction. Thou mighty, infinite I am presence, we rejoice in thy ceaseless outpouring, thy enfolding presence, protecting and governing the life of these beloved students. Help them to enter into the fullness of thy presence with no uncertainty, that they may bless mankind wherever they may be or go. Intensify thy wondrous light within the outer activity, and each one may become a great channel to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to enlighten. And that's the end of the discourse. This goes into the thought forms that this was mentioning, how thoughts can literally become thought forms. And if you attach to them, unless you just ignore it or create a better thought form to replace it, that's going to manifest in your life, because you are God. You are an aspect of God, the Godhead, in human flesh. You are God embodied in human flesh, in the third density. Yeah, I found that very synchronistical indeed. Well, we're only at 4 minutes, so we may as well continue on to Discourse 25. December the 25th, 1932, Christmas Day, Saint Germain. Invocation. Infinite I am presence. From thy ancient sanctuary we find thee pouring forth expression, that thy perfection be manifest in all phases of life, and that all of earth, which has been wrongly qualified by mankind, be raised into that ascended state, thy eternal perfection. I bring you greetings, and especially from the retreat in Arabia, that great centre of training for the use of the mighty rays. I have 2 surprises for you today. I say, I, because we are all one. That's interesting. So whenever Saint Germain or Jesus Christ or anybody says, I am the life, I am the resurrection, I am the light, they are referring to the I of the great I am. You are all, we are all the I of the great I am. There's only one God, don't forget, there's only one source. You know, and you and I are all an aspect of that source. So whenever you say I, or I am this, or I'm this, or I'm going to, or I'm feeling like this, or I'm so terribly upset at this, you know, you're putting the force of God in action into your life. Especially when you say, I am sick, or, I mean, I've been realizing this. And it's very difficult to change your words when you're feeling continuous pain. Especially when people ask you, how are you? And I've been thinking recently, maybe I should start actually lying. You know, telling white lies to myself and everybody else, and to my thoughts, and saying, I am well, I am good, I am feeling great, even when I'm not. Maybe that's something, you know, this is one thing that I haven't tried doing with any great effort. I've tried all these healing mantras and all these healing sessions with energy healers and quantum healers and shamans, and God, I've tried everything. And the one thing that I haven't stuck with is repeating, I am well, to everybody, including myself. It means you've got to tell lies to a lot of people, but they're only kind of like white lies. And if you can do that, as long as it makes you better. Now, don't forget, you need to believe it as well. That's the biggest key. You need to say it and believe it. Have the feeling that it's already done, already completed. Yeah, difficult one, but this is something that I'm going to implement in my life, and I'll let you know how it goes over the next month. Okay, to continue with the I AM Discourses. I have 2 surprises for you today. I say I because we are all one. I trust that I need no introduction as I speak to you over the light and sound ray. Nada speaks. Here we go. The Discourse. How beautiful this day always seems to us in the consciousness conveyed to humanity, representing that birth of the Christ activity in all mankind, and to the students who have become aware of what the use of the I Am presence means to them, in setting into motion love and intelligence to do their bidding according to their direction of that limitless power. So long, individuals have wondered how to attain the Christ consciousness. The first mighty step is the recognition of the great I Am presence, God dwelling in you. The second step is in the use of that I Am presence. For when you say I am, with the understanding of what it means, you have then and there entered into the Christ consciousness. This is 5D. This is what we're talking about. Okay, to continue. It does not mean you immediately express the fullness of that Christ consciousness, for you must first know where you are going and what you wish to do before you can accomplish it. All the ascended ones have gone the same path and use identically the same application, because all roads lead to the great central sun, the Godhead. Our beloved Jesus performed one of the greatest blessings to mankind, and not only setting the example from his birth and achieving the ascension, but in making the eternal record that stands radiant, pouring itself into humanity. Little can the unascended realize what this means to mankind. It is the eternal beacon beckoning to them into the light, and in the example of the ascension, Jesus stated definitely not only what could be done, but what must eventually be done. Great as were the wonders he was able to perform, he gave the marvellous promise that even greater things than these shall you do. Many times students wonder what greater things could be performed than Jesus did, but he tells us that he only performed a few of the universal services which can be rendered into our fellow men and women. To us, this day always symbolizes the conscious beginning of that most marvelous of all achievements, the ascension. The moment the individual becomes conscious of this fact, the process of his own ascension has started, and according to the fullness of his grasp of truth, this may the individual accomplish it quickly or require time to do it. My personal experience has been that when I became aware of what it meant and began to use the I Am presence, I found that shortly I was entirely unaware of time or place, and that each day, as I entered more fully into this expansion of consciousness, I found that all things of my desire were right within reach. Mark you, right within my individual governing power, and with it came the consciousness that divine love was the mighty cohesive power holding all things together and in place, that this divine love within me, of which I had begun to learn, made me an invincible magnet for everything upon which my desire rested. This simple truth is one of the mightiest that comes to the student. At first, it causes one to realize that really he or she can rise above these seeming limitations about him or her, and then they find one by one that they are actually doing it. Then comes the great inrush and outpouring of this mighty self within, which holds the substance of everything the heart can wish within its own embrace, and your ability and authority, mark you, to qualify and mould this substance that is that which causes it to take on the form of your requirement, whether it be peace, love, gold, or enlightenment. I say to the beloved students, awake, O beloved students, to your authority, to your right, to your conscious ability to apply this great law, to your perfect health, eternal youth and beauty, the riches of God, the glorifying of your mind and body, and then to ascend into the arisen dominion, into your eternal everlasting freedom. After you begin to find, step by step, that you are accomplishing, then you begin to forget all this outer condition surging about you, in the glorious feeling of being held in the great embrace of that mighty master self within, which can never has and never will give cognizance to time or space. Okay, so this is beyond time or space. This is beyond the physical illusion. To continue, you are the master and have dominion in your life and over your world. The moment you recognize that the energy and power and intelligence with which you are using is the mighty I Am presence. How fortunate indeed are those individualizations upon earth who become aware, really aware of this truth. Jesus said, "Know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." This is one of the mightiest phrases, that of truth. Apply it, O beloved ones, with full determination, shutting out all uncertainty from your minds, and you will climb steadily that jeweled ladder of achievement. And as you look back upon each step gained, more and more will that blazing radiance shine forth, and you will wonder, how could I have gone so long in the shadow, when above me stood this mighty flame of life, ready to consume instantly all my unfortunate, ignorant creation? I tell you, beloved ones, that you do not have to wait indefinitely in the recognition of this mighty presence. Fold your arms about it in all the adoration you can command, and it will raise you quickly out from all these seeming limitations, clothing you in that seamless crystal garment, blazing with radiant light and held with a jeweled girdle that is your right to wear, and in your hand that blazing scepter of dominion, the searchlight of your mighty soul, which you can turn upon anything. We're out of time. Namaste.